to advocate for a community swimming pool for the citizens of Birmingham to use, and so that way that we can have strong athletic children that can rise up and be something else. Thank you.
Let's start. Mr. Jones, you want to go first?
I will. I'll go ahead and take a stab at it first. I've been in the middle. We're going
to let you go first.
Okay. One, I'll say Central Park is near and dear to me. But to answer your question, it's going to come back to transparency, accountability, which is extremely important. Holding myself accountable and not shoving the blame on anyone else. Not saying that that's happened, but that's just how I live life, and those are the principles that I abide by. I think the most important relationships where there needs to be some type of strategic focus are with the neighborhood officers in the 10 neighborhoods that we represent in District 8, to the council and to the council person, to the mayor. Those are the channels of communication. There needs to be consistent dialogue in terms of what's going on. I'm an advocate for swimming pools. In fact, one of the reasons that I am running is because Harris Pool was closed last year for the very first time that I ever seen in my life. It did not open the entire summer. For whatever reason, some say that it was done, held by renovations, but I can't see why you wouldn't renovate it in the winter or during the spring and the fall. It's only asked to be open for 2 months, and that's June and July. The reason why that's so important, because it was important for me as a young man growing up. I grew up in Fairview. Harris Pool was right there, it was accessible. As a young person at the age of 5, I had an individual named Dale and Abe. I know you have to be at Harris Pool to know them. They were my swim coach. They had me at the swimming pool every morning at 8 o'clock. And I know as a young person, when I was not in school, I was at the swimming pool. I actually went on to represent BPR, that's Birmingham Park and Board and Recreation. As a young person, I represented the city of Birmingham to swim on the state level, and I was a swim champion for a couple of years. Well, I know that that development made me and allowed me to groom my ability to go and play and be a football player at Auburn University. So I know the importance of having those components and how that being accessible to youth. I know that Central Park was extremely instrumental. That's why it saddens my heart to go and I see the mud and I see the fields and I see it all torn up. And that is not a conducive environment for our young people to achieve in. Also, we need to make sure that we open up the crossplex so that it's not just for others on the outside that come in and bus folks here and then they bus back out to go to the other areas. But we need to make sure that we and our young people have access to that facility. So community swimming pools, oh, okay, all right, I was going.
Well, I'm glad you did that because Harris Pool has never been closed. Mr. Tronan, if you lived in the neighborhood, you would know that. It has never been closed. It's been the only swimming pool, and one of the very few swimming pools has never been closed.
That swimming pool was open last year?
It was always been open. We put new tennis court, a new basketball court, a new roof. We put a new playground equipment, and so it has never been closed. Has never been closed. Not a summer that the pool has not opened. It was not closed. It was not even closed this summer. It was open this summer. Now we started off at the beginning of the summer. You have to clean the pool first. All the pools have to be cleaned. That's an annual maintenance. But it has never been closed a year. Never. And matter of fact, we got some new stuff coming because we get ready to expand the parking lot over there. That's why, I mean, and you're right about Central Park. That's why I put $200,000 in the budget to address some of the issues that we're having at Central Park. So I'm glad you raised those issues because I've been working on behalf of the people and notwithstanding any of the other stuff. Listen, Central Crossplex belongs to the city, and provided that you are a competitive swimmer, whether you are from Mountain Brook, whether you're from the Birmingham school system, if you are a competitive swimmer, it's an Olympic-sized pool. You can't teach swimming in a 12-feet pool. You cannot. And listen, and we are coming back, and the mayor has proposed to come back and build another pool. But it's got to be a warm-up pool. The warm-up pool will lend itself to having access from the public. But it's a competitive place. You know, we have folks, the high schools compete there. And so, and not only that, the college competes there. We have in excess of maybe 30,000 people coming to that place a year. That's unheard of. That's economic development. And so they are utilizing. And listen, Crossplex belonged to the entire city. I would have never been able to garner $60 million to do with Crossplex if it was just about District 8. Because then my colleagues would not have voted for it. They would say, no, it's too much going in District 8, but it belongs to the city of Birmingham. The fairgrounds was Alabama Fairground. It belonged to the city of Birmingham. And so we don't need to be divided. As you talk about unity, that's what you got to do. You got to work together. And so that facility provides jobs for our people that live in that neighborhood. You know, they got about 100-some folks on staff there. So, I mean, it's doing what it needs to do.
Ms. Peterson.
Okay, I believe the question is I done lost my train of thought. I'm getting old.
Y'all spoke on unity and communication. And the Crossplex has been mentioned several times up here. And I am the neighborhood president, and I know what's going on in my neighborhood. And the project for the Crossplex, and now there's a project for $20 million for the VRT, has been bypassed by the council and the mayor, not coming to the neighborhood. And I wanted to know what you all would do coming in as councilor to bring unity and communication back to the neighborhoods, whether it's throughout the city of Birmingham, because now when they go before city council, they vote without having the opinion of the neighborhoods. And I think it's not fair because it was on the books to have that opinion. And also, the community swimming pool that they're going to add for the proposal was told by the mayor and the previous council that the children of the city of Birmingham could not use that pool. It would only be for the Olympics, but it was a promised pool within the first planning. So,
but the children of Birmingham do use that pool if they are competitive swimmers.
I said the citizens, sir.
You said keep.
Okay.
Communication.
To piggyback on Mr. Tron, that pool is closed. I took a picture of it the other day. That's the piggyback on that.
All the
First
pools
of
are
all,
closed now. It's the
it
end of
was
the summer.
closed 2 weeks before the end of the summer, but I'm gonna leave that alone. For the community pool, I sat at the table with Mayor Langford when he proposed that community pool, because we fought for that community pool because we wanted something the city of Birmingham could utilize. They put the Olympic pool in there, and that is the warming pool, but the citizens and the children cannot use it. The community pool was supposed to be built, and we were supposed to pay $1 per swim.
Exactly.
Now, they took it out. They never did address putting it back in there. So I don't know where that lies, but I do know we're supposed to have a community pool. I'm for a community pool because as it stands right now, our children cannot swim year-round. The parks are only open for 2 months. So why can't we get a community pool? They closed the YMCA down the street. Perhaps they thought the last framework meeting I went to, the YMCA was supposed to move to the Crossplex, and the pool was supposed to be inside of there. I haven't heard anything of that nature. We need a community pool. For as getting our citizens involved, we have 10 neighborhoods. We need to be transparent in all 10 neighborhoods. We need to allow all the citizens to get engaged and to unite on what we want to see at Crossplex. It shouldn't be left up to a neighborhood meeting, because everybody can't attend a neighborhood meeting. It needs to be unified, and it needs to be 10 neighborhoods engaged sitting at a table instead of 6 neighborhoods by Crossplex.
More questions?
Sir, here's a picture of the pool taken on July the 22nd. Is the water in that pool? Where, and to give the address, we've got a detail on that. Give the address. Get the address.
I'm not sure.
Last year, and I want to be honest with what I say this.
Last
year,
2221
Harris Swimming Pool did not open.
Right here.
Harris Pool did not open.
I stay by.
Did it open?
They was doing work on the pool.
Thank you.
Open.
At point in time.
Did it
they
open?
allowed people to swim in the pool.
Did it open?
Because it was constructed.
It's right
It
here,
was
it's
off
open
at home,
here.
sir.
It's a
You said it was construction.
You live in the truth and transparency. What is that?
I said last year, I got pictures. I believe in the truth. And the truth shall be told.
Listen,
I think we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on.
Well,
Right here in the brown.
I have a question. I really don't like to get involved in this because I ran for both of those positions. But something has really concerned me with this year for our city council. It was voted a hefty raise for the incoming council for this year. Whereas public safety is suffering, and I think you cut back. I talked to the police chief, he needs more money. If elected, would you be willing to vote that raise back and consider giving a decent raise to the public service, i.e. the police and fire department?
Let's go in the reverse order.
After viewing the budget, I would, whatever the pay is, I would let it stay for the city council. We are part-time servants. We work 24/7, but we are part-time. We only meet once a week from 9:30 until. We need to show up on time when we meet at 9:30. City council should start at 9:30. So yes, I am not for getting a raise. I don't even know what the pay is, so I can't voice the pay. But to get a raise to do a part-time job, I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm not getting paid for it. Why do I need a raise? We need to put more money in public safety. And as this budget states, there is not enough money in public safety. We have over 160 police officers going to retire in the month of October. Then, let's not even talk about their benefits for insurance. When these people retire, their benefits go up 75%. Now, you're going to serve me for 25 years. Now, I got to pay extra for health insurance? That's not fair. We need to revisit their insurance plan. That's not fair. And in this budget, it states that the city council, it's not fair. And I just advise everybody to go down there and get a budget tomorrow.
Mr. Lloyd?
well, you don't have to go far, I got the budget right here. The RAP recommended $97 million, and that's what we recommended to the mayor, back to the mayor, proposed back to the mayor. So the police department has not been cut. So this, all those departments, our first responders and all those departments have been funded and level funded. Whatever the mayor requested is what we propose to do. So let's be clear on that. The other thing is the salary of a Birmingham city council. I don't know what it is either, but Ms. Hart get it. So I don't know what it is. I don't know how much it is. 31. Is it 31? Okay. So listen, and still we're not the highest in the state. You got folks in the hospital get more than we do. You got folks in Mobile that do less work. You know, I mean, my phone rings 24 hours. You know, not only that, but listen, I didn't come to make a living as a counselor. I've had 3 jobs for the last 10 years. So I know what it takes. You know, I didn't come for that. I came to be of service to the people. And I didn't come, but listen, if we hadn't had an increase in I think in about 15 or 20 years. So I mean, the cost of living, we didn't even have a cost of living. And quite frankly, we got $2.7 million for a cost of living for our employees. 75% of the budget is that of employees. So if you say the city doesn't care about its people, well, what do you think, how do these people get a job? They got jobs. 70% of the budget is that of employees. Not goods and services, but employees. So we are trying to employ them. And Ms. White, Ms. Denson, I respect you, but we didn't cut the police department. And I want you to know that. And as a public safety chair, I would never agree to cut the police department. Matter of fact, we're giving them additional money for all of our policemen to have body cameras. Every last one of them, they got body cameras. Everything the chief had asked us to do, we've done with respect to our police officers. And listen, I sit on the benefits committee, and I fight. And you ask any of those union folk, I fight, and I fought to keep our insurance the same, because I have a wife who has lupus, and there are many folk who are sick that work for the city, and they deserve the best treatment that they can get. And so that I would never fight. I mean, would never cut benefits to our employees.
Mr. Trump.
Okay. Excuse me, Ms. Denson. Can you repeat that question? I just want to make sure. Is it related to city council pay, public safety pay? I just want to make sure I have.
The pay that was voted on that would be effective with this term in office, would you be willing to give it up and devote more money to public service, i.e. the police and fire?
Well, and I'll start from the beginning to my understanding of the city council raise. It went from in the amount of $15,000, and they voted to raise it to $50,000, and then it was reduced to $32,000, if I'm correct. And I'm in agreement that I think $32,000, which is supposed to be aligned to the average income of Birmingham, is somewhat reasonable. But at the same time, I think that we should make sure that we hold our police and public safety officials and make sure that we are compensating them for the job that they're doing. And I will be an advocate for that and make sure that they receive reasonable pay because they are on the front end and they are our protectors and they are the one that's ensuring our safety within our community. So I will put that as a higher priority than my salary as a city councilman, if that answers your question.
I think that we're going to go ahead and wrap this up.
Got one more, I think.
He had his hand was up, didn't he?
All right, Mr. Womack.
I appreciate it. Antoine Womack, I don't have to introduce myself. My question was totally concerning education. You guys spoke about Bush and spoke about what's been promised and everything. When they allocated the money, and I'm getting to my question, I want to put something towards Bush, because if elected, I'm going to have to be one of those to make a decision about that. When they brought it before the community concerning the new school, the Bush, when the 1 cent sales tax had happened, they got that from the Bell plan, which funded so many schools. But I say that to say this, is that Bush money, all of it, was there. They took money and they put it into Oxmoor Valley to build the Oxmoor Valley School. That was never on the plan. They took our money. They also took our money and sent it to Wells Fargo because they didn't have enough money over there. They messed up Norwood budget, so guess what they did? They cut more money off the Bush money. Currently right now, the numbers are $6.4 million currently right now that's in that account for Bush, and it's just sitting there. I'm asking this question, is that the student population for this area and in the surrounding area where Bush was zoned for is not there anymore. It is not there anymore. They better can keep the ones over there in Center Street over there. So you're asking us to keep the school open when number one, and I'm going to put this, and I'm getting to my question, I had to get this out. Councilor Hort, I would have never, as a city councilor, would have never allowed them to make a recommendation to merge council with Bush when council was right there for the children to walk, and now guess what they're doing? They merged two schools, and you got nothing out of the plan. You let Miss Williams bamboozle you with this merge thing, and guess what? We lost 2 good schools in our district. That's not right. Now, my question is to Bush. My question is to you. One of you will serve as district councilor. Currently, right now, Birmingham is the only city in the state that pays only 1% towards public education. You got Hoover that has said in the next 2 years, they're going to give $50 million. Not the state. The city said they're going to give $50 million towards education. Our city budget has increased by almost 50-some million in 10 years, and none of it almost go towards education. Are you willing? This is the question now. Are you willing to sit down with the Birmingham Board of Education? We have a strategic plan that goes up to 2020. Are you willing to sit down with us? Hold us accountable for the money that you give us. Are you willing to sit down with the mayor, school board, and allocate $10 million for the next 4 years towards our education. It ain't gonna hurt the budget. If the mayor got $2 million in security, what one man need that much for? Take that money and put it in the school. Are you willing? And I'm gonna hold you accountable. Please do know, I'm gonna hold you accountable. Are you willing to look at our mayor and say, Mr. Mayor, we complain about education, but you have the power to make the recommendation for the council. Are you willing to stand up with the board and recommend $10 million to give us $40 million in the next 4 years?
All right. I guess we'll start with Mr. Trump.
All right, I'll take that first. Excellent question. Excellent question, Womack. I will not say the amount that I will be an advocate for because that comes with a great detail of study and understanding where money is coming from and where it will go. But I will definitely be an advocate.
No, hold on. I said we have a strategic plan.
And I understand that you said 10 million. So for me to say and commit to 10 million based upon what you just said wouldn't make sense to me. I would have to see the numbers to say the amount that I would be willing to commit, that I would be willing to commit in terms of how it works. But I will be willing to work with that strategic plan and offer my candidate advice to what's going to be the best move. And I think day one in getting to the office, the first thing that needs to be aligned is a partnership with who's ever elected to the Board of Education in District 8 to whomever is elected to the City Council with District 8, so that they're working in alignment for the greater good of the district. That is my number one priority upon being elected, is to form a partnership with who's ever elected to the Board of Education within District 8, and let's make sure that our students that are in the district receive the best quality education that's affordable to us to provide to them. Next.
You gotta say it like that.
Okay. I've been here from the front run for the merge of council and Bush Middle, so I know how much money was in the budget. I was there at the board meeting, and I'm on TV stating that the money was misappropriated. I know we have lost our children in District 8, so I know we don't need a big mega school there. We need a community school that is a public school. With $6.5 million, I walked into the Board of Education and I gave them a plan. They built a school in Milwaukee for the community for 200 students with $4.5 million. So why we can't get a community school for $6.5 million? I will not allocate funds and not get a paper trail for it because I'm an accountant. I want to know where the money went. I want to know how it was spent. I want to know why you want it. And I want you to be held accountable for it, just as I'm going to be held accountable for it from coming from the city of Birmingham. So it's got to be a unity. We can work together, and we can build that school back. We can build that community school. Because right now, it's not fair for our kids being bused to 7th Street. It is not fair. Those parents have to be down there at 7:10 in the morning, and they're still going to be bused this year. Because the school, they haven't even started construction on the school. And that's not fair. So yes, I'm an advocate. And we can get that for that $6.5 million community school.
Well, I'm Stephen Hoyt, and I approve that message. Because it's one that I have fought for since it's been brought to my attention. I'm not on the school board. First of all, I think if you or any others gets there, then I need to see what kind of leadership and how you're going to lead before I say I'm going to give $10 million to anything, quite frankly. You know, if I was the chair of the budget, I would go through each line item. It takes time to go through a budget. And you go each line item, that's where you find all the fat. Okay? Now, we didn't do that, but I'm not the chair, so I didn't lead that process. But I appreciate what has been done. And listen, and we didn't have to do that because we agreed summarily that we would support the mayor's budget. Education is important to me. Long before I got on the council, I sat on the policy committee. And I sat on that committee to effect change. You know, we always talk about student expectation, but you got to have teacher expectation as well. There has to be a balance between the two. And that's how children doing better, would do better. When you think about the reading, our reading scores are still low. And they're low, and so what I did it's got the council to give $1 million to the library because librarians are wonderful readers, right? I said, why don't you partner with them? We done tried Ed, you know, the Education Foundation. We've tried Better Basis, and our scores are still the same. But we've never tried to partner with the library. If you think about it, the library is a latchkey for our children. They come there to learn. When you go in the library, I don't care how loud you are, you quiet down, and it's conducive for what? Reading and learning. Is that right? And so my colleagues agreed with me, and we gave them $1 million. We increased it to $2 million for this initiative because, listen, if our young people can't read, they can't do math, they can't do anything. And so it's important that our young people learn how to read. And so those are the kinds of things that I have done in partner. When you say a partner in education, I've been a partner. As a matter of fact, when I was with community schools, sat on the board, I was the volunteer of the year for the entire state because of my activism and working and volunteering with nobody looking. That's what you got to know.
Let's cut you off there. I think we're gonna stop it there, y'all. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I know we can stay here and ask questions all night. But I think we're gonna do closing statements now. So everybody gets 2 minutes. We're gonna cut you off hard at 2 minutes this time. I promise I will. All right. So let's switch it up one more time, Mr. Hoyt. You want to start?
I started the last one.
We're turned around.
Okay.
Yeah, very good. We've been doing.
Well, let me thank you all certainly for your attention. I mean, it takes time to be in a room that's hot in here. Some of y'all hadn't eaten, and so I want to say thank you for allowing me to express my concerns and your concerns. And I hear you. I hear you. And that's what you got to have in a leader, one who hears, but also one who does, and can make a difference. When I look at leadership, I look at it in terms of what you've been able to do since you've been in office and bringing things to this community. As I've told you, we gave $9 million for Tuxedo. When we rebuilt Tuxedo, that happened under my watch. When you talk about the crossplex, even the initial crossplex, $60 million, that I was able to get my colleagues to agree that we needed to do that. And quite frankly, the renovation of the crossplex came from me. I was a neighborhood officer. I'm the one who said it could be revitalized and that we could do, it could be something of promise. And today it is something of promise. And so I've been working on your behalf because you told me that you wanted a better community. And I've been working for the last 12 years to make this place better. And I can tell you, it is getting better. When you look at the streetscape, I allocated $1 million for streetscape. I mean, $850,000 for streetscape from Arkadelphia back towards Central Park, from Tuxedo to from Tuxedo to on the side of the crossplex. Another $250 million, so $1 million for a streetscape. You're right. When the 2020 games come, it's got to look nice. And I told the mayor, I said, we need to fix it up. You know, it needs to be pleasing when you come into this community. When you make that kind of investment, listen, we got a Habaneros coming, we got a Starbucks coming, we got Golden Rule Barbecue coming, we have Hotel House coming. I mean, these are restaurants, these are places that you say you wanted. And listen, and we're making it happen. And guess what? They're going to employ folk from this community. And some folk from Central Park and Enns and Fairview, they can walk to work if need be. $20 million at the BRT. You know, from the grid is coming from Woodlawn to 5 Points West every 15 minutes. So you can go to and have a job and get there on time. That's going to happen. What a minute.
It's time for a change. I'm the person for that change. I'm the person that's going to bring the change that you can feel, see, and touch. We are bringing jobs to District 8, but we need to make sure that the jobs that we bring are utilized by our citizens in District 8. We need to make sure that the facilities that are being built are utilized by contractors that adhere to the 35% of minority participation. We need to make sure that our young kids get the education that they deserve. And with the monies that come through City Hall and that can be dispersed, we need to make sure that there is a check and balance system. So I am running for that. I'm the new face, better vision, and greater direction. I am a spiritual person. So with that said, I'm gonna do what it takes to get that job done. I know how to work. I know when to work. And that's the person that I am. But I'm a mother's first. By being a mother first, I'm gonna make sure that every child in District 8 deserves the right education, can get in programs that they need to get into. And for as parents, we always want to throw it back on the parents. We need to provide some parenting skills, because everybody don't know how to love. Some people have to be taught how to love. Once we instill those skills into people on learning how to love, that person will think twice before he kills somebody over a cigarette lighter. And that's what I'm talking about.
Well, thank you for coming out today. Thank you for hearing us. We all have wonderful people up here, and I commend them on what they're doing and what they're standing for and what they're saying. My attributes, what you're going to get with Adelaide Trone is you're going to get passion. I'm extremely passionate about Fairview, Bush Hill, and all 10 neighborhoods that are within District 8 because they invested in me, and now it's time for that investment to pay off. What is my platform? Peace, participation. We need to make sure that we're getting our youth to participate in the process, but also make sure that they're involved in our community. We need to make sure that we build an entrepreneur spirit within our community so that we're not relying on other forces over the mountain from Montgomery to basically build our economy for us. It's incumbent on us to build our own economy for ourselves. Achievement. We need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. When you leave here and you see potholes and you see roads and you see abandoned homes, when you see abandoned commercial property, you need to ask yourself, if this is what you want, the more of the same of? And you need to ask that honestly. Or do you want to move in a new direction and you want new energy, and do you want passion to provide a better way to where we're going to prepare us for what's coming in the next 4 years when we invite the world to come in on the red carpet? Community. We need to make sure that we're not acting and operating as individuals, but we are together. And upon winning, I plan on working with Stephen Hoyt and also Ms. Peters. And we need to make sure that the individuals are all coming together on one accord so that we can provide the leadership, but also the vision, because everybody brings something to the table. Last but not least, environment. You're a product of the environment that you come from. And we need to make sure that we change the environment of what's going on right here in District 8. Because our young people has taken this environment and they've assumed that it's somewhat of a jungle. And this is not a jungle. And we will not tolerate a lot of the foolishness that has been going on. A vote for Trone is a vote for peace. And you will not go wrong voting for Trone. Thank you.
Thank you, all. This is one more time.